Hey foodies, welcome back to Tamara Recipes. In today's video, I'll show you how I made this delicious, authentic Jamaican sweet potato pudding. So let's get right into the video. So I have some frozen coconut. Now guys, I had my coconut but I wasn't ready to prepare it, so I just put it in the freezer, cut them up, put them in the freezer. Alright, now I'm gonna blend and then I'm gonna extract the juice off camera. Now these are my ground provisions of choice. I have some yellow yam, maybe about a pound. I have my dasheen right there, about half a pound of the dasheen. I don't think it reaches 1 pound, but I know it's 1 pound of yellow yam. Alright, now if you don't want to add all of these ground provisions, then you can always skip some. Alright, no, but if you want to make the real authentic Jamaican sweet potato pudding, then I have to add these. Alright, so I grated my sweet potato, I grated my yam, and I grated my dasheen. Now after grating, I used the smallest part of the grater. It took me such a long time, maybe about an hour or more than an hour to grate, so I didn't want to put it on camera because I didn't want the recording to be too long. Alright, so we're just gonna mix them, you know, just to get all of those starches together, you know, like bring them together. And of course my yam was oxidizing because, you know, yam or ground provision, most of them they oxidize very fast. Alright, but oxidizing doesn't make your pudding taste bad. Alright guys, yeah, so just give them a nice mix and then we're gonna set it aside. Now I have my dry mixture here. I have a pack of coconut powder. Now I am using a whole coconut, but I like to add the coconut powder to my dry ingredient just to add extra boost of coconut flavor. I have some flour, I have my mixed spice, I have some salt, I'm adding some raisin, and I added some cinnamon powder and some grated nutmeg. Alright, now you want to coat your raisins in the flour mixture so that when you bake a pudding, the raisin is distributed evenly. Now I extracted my coconut milk, so now I'm gonna add some sugar. Now as I said before, I'm using the dry coconut as you have seen, but I'm also adding some coconut powder because the more coconut for me the better. Now I added my sugar. I did not add a whole lot of sugar, but what if you are a person who loves lots of sugar, then make it to your preference. Alright, but that's sweet enough for me. I'm adding, well, I measured 2 tablespoons of melted butter, so I melted it. Now I'm adding it to the coconut mixture. I'm also adding some vanilla. That one was finished, so off camera I added maybe about 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I'm adding like a half of the cork, maybe about half a teaspoon of almond. Alright, because almond is very strong. Now if you have the yellow almond, you can go ahead and use it also. Alright, so just give it a nice mix. Any other flavoring you like to add, you could even add some molasses, guys, but I didn't want to add the molasses to my pudding. No, I forgot to mention that I blended some ginger while I was blending the coconut. Alright, so we're just gonna give our starches, our grated starches, some moisture. Alright, so I'm gonna add some of the coconut milk into the container so that it can moisten our starches before we start adding our dry ingredients. Alright, so you want to do this first before you add your flour, because it's gonna be so hard to mix out if you add your dry ingredients to the starches without adding any moisture. Alright, so now I'm gonna add my dry ingredient. Just mix it nicely, but don't over mix the pudding mixture. Alright, I've never over mixed mine, I just mix it enough but I don't believe in over mixing. No matter what you bake, I don't believe in over mixing. Alright, so let's give it a nice mix. You want to ensure that everything is mixed out properly, and then you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now guys, I didn't realize that there was a piece of yam in mine. Well, it baked and I had it in the pudding and it didn't taste anyway to me because I actually ate it. But what if you're a person who, you want to make sure everything is fully blended? I didn't want the grater to cut my finger, so when I was grating, it fell in the container, but I didn't realize. Alright, now I added some coconut trash, which is completely optional. I do like to add coconut trash to my sweet potato pudding. Alright, now I'm gonna be using my Dutch pot to make my pudding. However, you can use baking containers. Alright, so I nicely greased my baking container because trust me, I love when it's all buttery and nice. You get that nice flavor on the edges, because for me the edge of the pudding is the nicest, or the crust. Alright, so before I added it into the baking container, I give it the batter a good mix again, just to ensure that it's fully mixed out. Alright, so I added the batter into my Dutch pot. I'm gonna place it in the oven and then I return. Alright, so this is about 1.5 hours because it's in the Dutch pot, it takes a longer time to bake in the oven. So this is about 1.5 hours. So in total my pudding took about 2 hours to bake. Alright guys, it can take a longer time or a shorter time, but because of the Dutch pot, it will take a much longer time than when you put it in a baking dish. Alright, so my pudding is all baked and I'll allow it to cool overnight. So now I'm gonna cut a slice and let you see. But guys, trust me, it was kind of hard for me to cut it in the pot, so I had to be fighting to cut it. Alright, so I had to stop the recording, did my little fighting off camera, and then I tried my best to remove it. Alright, so I was successful to remove it without it getting damaged. But for me, it's easier to cut when I use the baking container. Alright, so the best part of the pudding, as I was stating before, is all of that nice crust, and I love the butter top. Yeah, I call it the butter top. Yeah, like the top part, like the coconut mixture and all of that. Yeah. Now, this is the end product. If you like, guys, with the coconut mixture that you add on top, you could add more flavors in it, but because I added all of the flavor before, so I didn't bother to add any more spices. Alright, and you could also add some more sugar, but I didn't want any more sugar in mine. So this is the end product. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you try the recipe, please comment down below and give me your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed and go and make up on yourself straight.